Come on.
Online.
It's pointed your way.
Yeah.
It's pointed your way, you smile. Here, is that new?
Well,
I've never
well,
done
it's
it.
like that.
Oh, okay.
That doesn't quit working. That's our, what feeds it with the fly.
Oh, okay. Lord. Lubbock County, what town is it? Because the other day we had him sign that salesman has emailed it to me again, but I already have to sign it, so I already talked to him.
Not bad.
When he was in college.
Not bad at all.
It'll be more this summer.
It won't be very much current.
And he got COVID.
Keep up with it.
So they're
It'll
having
be over
service.
100%.
So we're about 115,000
I'm sure.
sold out. It was the packages, you know, right?
Yeah. Really.
Keep hustling. I need to go to work for work.
What's
Like,
crazy
okay.
is the sales tax, I mean, it's been,
5 or 6 years older than me.
the-
So, I mean, how could the
Oh.
children to go to that school?
Good. Something like that,
And we already got the check in from,
But yeah, he
the
was.
dispatcher.
no, not on the dispatch.
I noticed this new agreement says it'll start coming in February 2nd.
I don't recall getting the dispatch money, do you? We haven't got it yet.
It's 43 something.
43 or something, yeah. On the dispatch, 43,365.
We might have to jar them because they forget.
See, this new agreement says, no, it'll be in February 2nd, I think.
I can send just a little,
Well, it was frozen everywhere and it's probably getting caught up.
yeah, don't spill my coffee, throw it on your hand.
I thought we had, did we have a warranty or extended warranty with Guardian?
Well, no, no, probably not on that down there.
I don't know.
No, it was his door, the key reader thing that went.
Yes.
Anything electronic is gonna break.
It says dispatcher service shall be paid by the city only before February 15th of each year.
I'll just, well, I don't know, I'm probably just calling, you know, that Tim left and we've got a new city manager over there, so they just probably need to be reminded.
Well, the two ladies that used to be in the bill, that's not there anymore.
I know it, and they were my go-to
Yeah.
people.
Commissioners Court of Young County now come to order. This meeting is posted in manner for the time required. I'll make note that all members of the court are present. We're live on YouTube. Call-in number is 940-221-2107. If anyone appearing here virtually would like to call in and make any kind of a comment on anything that might be on the, any item that might be on the agenda today. If it's convenient, please stand.
Sounds good.
I think so.
Let's go. Let us pray. Our Heavenly Father, we so thank you for this day. We're so blessed to have the rain that you're giving us today. We ask that you be with the men and women overseas and help protect our country. We ask that you be with the first responders that stay with us here in the United States. We ask that you help us, the United States, the world, become more friendly and people get along better. We ask that you be with us, help us make the right decisions, help us look out for the people of the Young County. These things we ask in your name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Like I mentioned, this is a regular meeting, regularly scheduled meeting, and it is Monday, March 22nd, 2021, and it's 9:37 a.m. Item number 3, public comments, announcements, presentations, and no action items. COVID update, the last update I had on that, we were previously at 9, but I believe we stepped up to 15 is the last report I had, and I do not have any report that's, I think, last Thursday was the last time, or maybe Wednesday, that I had any information with regard to our numbers. So 15 is the last that I know of. Somebody else might have a little better idea. Any extension girls have any more idea about that?
COVID, how many people?
Or any of the court members? 15 positive active in Young County is the last I know of. We quit getting that information and kept Shane Cornell quit putting it out daily and went to one time per week. So I think his report will come out sometime later today, maybe 15. So that's what my last report was. Also, I have here TDIC. This is our formula grant statement for Indigent Appointments Council. And it looks like that we'll be receiving $26,976 in reimbursement for indigent defense after, I don't know, $200-something expenditure.
That was last year during COVID.
Excuse me?
That was last year during COVID. That was last year during COVID.
Yeah. I think Cheryl, you got the figures I put in that resolution that indigent defense.
Oh, what Marcia turned in on that?
Now, it was like $230,000 or something like that. So we have to make that report, give that report to the TIDC, and then they have a formula grant. Each county will receive $5,000, and then the additional funds is pursuant to the expense that we've had as it relates to the whole state, I think. And sometimes at the end, there's funds in there left over, and we'll get a little extra. They calculated $26,976 this time, and that would include the $5,000 awarded to Edward County. Okay. Young County Historical Commission Annual Report. We have that in our packet, and we have Susan Smith here. She's with us. She's going to brief the court a little bit on those activities. If you will, Susan, thanks for coming and showing up. Appreciate the commission.
Well, thank you for having me. So,
And you may take that mask off so it hears you.
Okay.
If you choose to.
thank you. So last year, like for everybody, it was just a weird year. We only had one meeting, and it wasn't an official meeting, but we did get together so that we could approve and present the marker application for the 1921 jail. Because of COVID, all of the deadlines at the state were pushed back, and there weren't a lot of applications, so we won the marker application, so we're very excited about that. And we're just waiting, the next step is they'll write the verbiage for the marker, send it to us so we can approve it, and then they'll move forward with casting the marker. So just waiting to hear back from the state on that. And so I want to appreciate the Commissioners Court allowing us to use the money from the bridge rental to pay for that marker. And Kent Pettis, who thought was coming, he's our marker chair, he paid the $100 to submit the application. So we were very excited, had a lot of people supporting us, Judge Bullock and your county clerk and the people over at the jail. We had lots of people working on that application to get it put together. So we were very excited. Other than that, we've continued to be involved with Fort Belknap. We helped with Fort Belknap Days in October. We had more volunteers than we did public, which was a little disappointing, but it was still a good event. And considering that everybody throughout the state was canceling events, we felt the fact that we could just continue to have one was a big thing. One of the things that we as a historical commission did that was a little odd is we always have an education day on Friday and a public day on Saturday. Well, because the schools couldn't come out, we actually did a living history training through Zoom. The Arkansas Living History Association allowed us to present and have it over at the Grand Public Library, and so we had participants from Louisiana and several different states. So that was very exciting. And other than that, we've just been pretty much just everybody's been doing their own individual projects. Kent's been really busy adding things to Find a Grave to tie people to Young County and making those associations. And we've been meeting with some other groups. Alney is really working hard to revitalize their town, and they reached out to us to see how we could help them. So we're just continuing to try to reach out and find niches where we can be helpful. And this next year, hopefully we can get back out there and start repainting markers again and work on the cemetery, do some more cleanup. And Judge Bullock wrote an application last year for the Belknap Cemetery. So we need to go to the next step and work on a marker for that too. So we're hoping this will be a better year. So that's all I have for you.
We're gonna try to figure something out first thing too, is to keep those hogs out of there too. I know if they're just tearing it up and, I don't know. We're gonna try to figure something out with them to try to keep them out. I know they're tearing it up pretty good. Jimmy, got any suggestions?
All that you put on the bottom, that's cattle pile.
Yeah.
You should
Can we
put
bury
a
it?
retaining wall around it.
Can we bury it? Put it up?
Maybe I dig a ditch.
You know what I'm saying? Would that help?
I don't think if you bury it, I don't think it'll make any difference.
Put a retaining wall. Retaining wall around
I
it.
know. It's what it-
Our rocks.
Thank you.
Okay, Susan, thank you for your efforts on that historical commission. We appreciate that a good bit. We did receive your membership list that I think had 18 or 19 members on there.
Yeah, we intentionally carved the numbers down. When I originally joined the commission, we had between 50 and 60 members. And as our members are aging and some of them are having to stay home and take care of spouses, we just can't make a quorum for our meetings. So we've tried to pare it down to people that we know will come to the meetings and that will be at the work days. And we added 3 new members this year. Just one of them is a daughter to one of our current members, and so we were kind of thinking, how can we help our current membership continue to come? And so that's how we were looking at things, trying to broaden it, but also, you know, help get that next generation in.
Well, that's good. Well, thank you for that. And I don't know, I think 18 or 20 is pretty good. That's a good group of folks. The requirement is 7 from the county, and then there's not any limitation to membership. So everything looks good to me. Okay, County Extension Agent's Interpretation Quarterly Report. Amanda Williams, Kenny Barron.
Here's y'all's annual paper stack. And so we're here today to do our annual interpretation. Basically, they're going to be discussing the programs that we've done the previous, short one.
I think I gave it to Kay.
John, can we make a copy for you? I apologize, I didn't think about that. I apologize, we'll make a copy, I didn't apologize.
Just one.
I left too when she read it.
Thank you.
So we started off with, you know, a big bang. Obviously, our, you know, let's say, bread and honey, is our 4-H program. And so we've been real proud of that for our growth leading up prior to COVID. And so one of our big supporters of that is our parent adult leaders who provide a fundraiser that supports a scholarship program. It does collegiate scholarships, but it also helps cover various scholarships that are provided to various aspects of our club, being from the club area, project areas, camps. Basically, there's a need. The Parent Adult Leaders has helped fund that almost for going on 15 years now. And so we've been very good. Our fundraising has changed. It was the truck raffle, and due to some rules with that and the vehicle and the lottery, it's been hard to be able to continue with that. So they've changed up. Last year they did a lawnmower and a trailer, and this year we've gone with the processed pig with a freezer. And so we have S&H Mark Meats, which is Lynn Shields and her husband here from Graham, and they've just started up this business, as well as Savannah's family, William Show Pigs, with the meat, and then Lynn Shields has donated her processing date that was on the calendar for us. So we kind of got lucky that we were able to have someone help us with that. Okay. The first thing that we're moving into is our 4-H Grows program, and so Savannah is our 4-H coordinator. And so she wants to talk about 4-H general management of that, our volunteer management. Our actual official numbers for 2020 was 180 4-H members. And we had 180 4-H members as well as 20 volunteers. That's actually probably on the lower end. We had several other indirect volunteers that helped. They just were not primary volunteers and did not go through the actual volunteer training through the state method. But I would say on a program effort, COVID definitely did hit us hard. And so our numbers, I think right now, are on the 140 mark, so we're about 40 short. And basically, I can tell you, in my opinion, is we just missed the shooting sports realm this year because of the way that COVID has hit, practice times, and this spring, just right now to start all that up for some of our program disciplines would be, just hasn't been their ability to be able to meet given time to lead into contests. Our archery program is still strong, it's still going. In fact, that is the only project that did not have to quit throughout all of COVID, with the exception of the month of December, because we were able to work with the facility that we had. We have some amazing coaches that devote more time than they probably should to our program, and therefore they were able to offer multiple practices, spreading out the kids in efforts to still meet our guidelines that was according to the state, 50% capacity, and of course the mask issue. We've lost a lot of families regarding the mask requirements. That is still a requirement, however, we do more. So, that is because that comes from the A&M system up high, and just the time it trickles all the way down before we actually get the new updated information will take a little bit. So, anything else on general 4-H?
Despite COVID, I mean, we still had, when we could participate, we had kids show up, which was great. It felt like every time we had some momentum going, though, we got another order saying that we couldn't. And it was incredibly frustrating, but thankfully, you know, like I said, we still had club participation, we still had new volunteers. I mean, the Shields family stepped up and they're now managing our Graham 4-H club, and we were still able to participate in livestock shows, and we were still able to have events. And then we still saw participation despite COVID.
In
And
reality,
good.
our fall actually didn't look a lot different other than just the maybe lower participation numbers. We still
Yeah.
had our food project meeting, which is still one of the #1 projects in our county next to the shooting sports. We had anywhere between probably an average 25 kids. And so how did we meet that demand? We just met more than once. So that way we had age groups, which is more work on the volunteers, but it allowed us to see more kiddos. So the 4-H side has been good. I'm not concerned about our numbers at all. In fact, I know a couple of y'all talked to one of our new shooting sports coaches, which is Rusty Hughes. Is going to be our head rifle coach, which I'm super excited about that. He's going to provide the management side of that we need, other than just the hands-on with the volunteers, to make sure that we have some schedule and things actively going, encouraging contests outside of just our district contests, which I think will increase more involvement there. We also have Bradley Herpatch is going with our shotgun, and will be helping Charlie Rogers with that program. We had our first practice. I think we had actually 12 kids show up, which was big for a shotgun practice for initial first time. And I know several that had called that were not able to be in attendance. And I also am excited about that particular discipline, because we have people that are, some of the parents are already lined up there with their 3rd graders that I already see coming into the fold. So we're not like we're going to burn out our volunteers in the first 5 years. I see a pattern of continued involvement, especially as we hopefully come to find better facilities and things like that to be able to do some of those projects. So I'm excited about our shooting sports program. I'm excited actually really about a lot of different projects. We actually just this past week did our first time ever leather working. That was an interest from a 4-H member that was identified last year, and I kind of drag my feet on a little bit, but we had a volunteer, Britt Nance, come in and help them, and they did a one afternoon kind of kickoff. They enjoyed it, and so we will be continuing that on a more periodic, as not a Texas 4-H project, it is a national 4-H project. I think it's super important for that entrepreneurship side of things, an opportunity for some of those kids to grow in those areas that we haven't really touched on yet in our Bozeman County 4-H program.
We also revitalized our horse project this past year. We had a volunteer step up, William Highsmith, and has taken on that responsibility. And we have a lot of families that are interested and have participated so far. They were super excited to compete in the Quiz Bowl, horse Quiz Bowl contest, but that got pushed, that got delayed and postponed. But they practiced a handful of times. They've met on Sundays for play days at the arena. We were wanting to put together a program this spring during spring break, but that also got delayed due to COVID and restrictions and scheduling and timing. But it's exciting to see that horse project kick off, and I hope we can continue that momentum into this next year.
So that's our main 4-H areas. Of course, there's a lot more to that in the management side and the projects and the constant meetings and things like that. We actually have fashion show, Duds of Dazzle competitions coming up, and we have a few participants in those. We'll have Roundup, which is our public speaking, things of that nature that's coming up. So I'm hoping that we see a little bit of growth there. But really, I mean, I'm even on the standpoint of getting things where we are consistently moving forward, but at the same time already looking into the fall as we kick off some new things. Aside from that, we were still able to do a couple of curriculum enrichments. Not our typical stuff, but we did do a Vaping 101, which came from our Leadership Advisory Board meeting, so we were able to hold that with the Albany School District, as well as offering several virtual opportunities. We were able to work with NCTC on some of those televised camps where we had opportunities to be able to be on the campus when we satellite out and have programs that way. Of course, not my favorite, but we offered it. Then moving into some of our adult programming. But curriculum enrichment, just so y'all know, spring is our biggest curriculum enrichment moment. And so right now we have fourth grade, which is typically our third grade safety day, is going to take place in person. We just got approval from Progressive Act to move forward with that. So we've got safety day. We are doing a great outdoors, covering outdoor education skills for second graders. This year, we are also doing Welcome to the Real World, the financial simulation for our high school kiddos. Both Olney and Graham and Newcastle participate in that. We're doing hatching in the classroom, which is something we haven't done in several years. Brad Morrison actually did that, and that was kind of his baby. And then also, we are doing LGEG, and we are fighting through that. Savannah has a program at the Newcastle that we've been working on, and so trying to work with our third graders is hard right now because of testing and just they're being a little bit behind. So we hope to get that going. But Open Door is still on track. They've got their garden beds. In fact, if y'all follow them on social media, they did a design contest, and they till yesterday. So we will be getting stuff in the ground hopefully the next week. Just in case we have one more freeze. But we'll see where we go on that. I know it is. We're going to wait till Easter. Yeah. We can still probably get away with potatoes, maybe onions. But, other than that, adult programming, that of course has been, for my area, has been one of the hardest for the programs we traditionally do. Most of my stuff is partnered with the hospital, with Senior Focus, senior citizens, nursing home, and senior living. And so of course through COVID, a lot of that was shut down. We did a couple of things, just mainly through educational purposes, but I'm hopeful that some of that will open. It actually still hasn't opened back up yet, to be honest. So hopefully we're getting there. I'm thinking by end of December, some of those opportunities will open back up. We still do our food handler certification program. We had 29 participants this past year, and that is an online opportunity. So the majority of people take that route, but I'm thankful for those that come with us. And that actually helps support some of my programs and gives us money back in the county to use for program supplies in some of those areas. Our U Lead is still in the middle of, we're fixing to wrap up our biannual program, and so we'll have our May graduation. We have, I believe, 15 current participants. We have a few more starting off, and then just for various reasons have kind of gone down a little bit. But it's a great group of adults of all sorts, from all different backgrounds, and several that are not from the local area. So it's kind of been nice to see some of those coming in and really taking pride in the community and wanting to get involved in that way. Lots coming up. Like I said, we're hitting our, I will say, one of my biggest programs that actually was successful was our Growing and Nourishing Healthy Community Garden. We have a community garden over in Olney with the House of Mercy, and so that is the only program through March and June that actually was conducted, did very well. And in fact, they're on their round 2. I think we'll have a total of, probably 10, 12 by 12 plots out there where they're growing. And so it's been a good opportunity for the individuals that they serve. And I'm thankful I have a particular volunteer in that group that is very helpful for me in being able to make contact with some of those individuals. So, and also the Perry Foundation helps support our programming over there too. So it's just a couple major highlights, and then we have the final of the ag.
Yeah, so on our side, unfortunately, this last year we had to cancel our spring program because that happened right as COVID hit. We were still able to host our North Central Texas Cattlemen Clinic in the fall. That was a 2 CEU event. We had roughly 40 participants. We were able to cook, which was great, to be able to provide a meal for the producers. And we still had several sponsors show up with their tables. And then we had a virtual winter lawn and tree program that was held up at the Young County Arena. Didn't see a lot of participation in that, but the weather was very dreary and it was completely virtual. We had 4 people show up in person, and I think 3 joined us online. And it was super informational. And I was hoping to kind of get that into before the winter hits. I get a lot of horticulture questions and just basic lawn care questions. And so I was hoping to kind of hit on that. But I am looking forward to this next year. We've already planned and got it on the books for our Spring Ag Day program. It looks very much similar to the one that we had planned the previous year, with Corbett Wall being our keynote speaker. He's going to touch on the condition of the cattle industry, which is a really hot topic at the moment. We also have 3 CEUs planned for the morning portion, and then Farm Bureau has graciously donated and sponsored. And I believe they're preparing the meal as well for lunch. And so that's really exciting. We're trying to do a greenhouse organic / farmers market program or in-person tour in May with the assistance of Janine over at the FSA office. And that's what we got going so far for this year. Last year was really tough. It was hard to try and get this county on board with some virtual programming, and I don't blame y'all. I had enough of it. I don't want to sit in front of a computer and listen to a virtual program more than anybody else. But we're excited to get back in person and be able to actually visit and chat and see people. So.
And final note, I was talking about volunteers, I was talking about my 4-H volunteers, and we are so thankful because obviously our 4-H program is a volunteer-based program, and without them we couldn't do what we do. But one of my biggest goals has been to have a good program committee, and I found that this past year during COVID, and actually I want to give kudos to Susan Smith as one of my family community health committee members. And so what we did is we have a great group of individuals that have very specific passions of interest that fall in my program area. And so what we've done is they've all taken on various programs that are of importance to them. And so with Susan, one of ours is the Walk Across Texas. And actually, I'm not going to let you say anything because I'm going to come back afterwards and do an update on it. But we've done it a couple of times. It was always a challenge to get people signed up, especially now because all has to be signed up online with registration. And so we've done it before, but April 1st is our kickoff. And so I've got opportunities here in the courthouse with people that have already pre-signed up from the fall that we'll utilize. But right now, I think we're on track for about 10 to 12 teams that we know of without having to really seek out. And so I'm excited about that, but more so excited about the volunteer base of that provides me their feedback, provides me their ideas, provides me the support that we have to kick off those programs. And so that communication is critical for me to be able to move forward and do my job as it should be done. And so I appreciate my volunteers that take pride in some of that and keep me on track whenever I may drop the ball on something. So.
And then I just want to touch on our ag kids really quick because I didn't say this yet. We had 36 entries for the Texas majors, which was huge because about this time last year, Houston was canceled and Austin was canceled. Super proud of those kids. Out of that, we had 3 individuals in the top 10 with their guilt projects. 2 at San Antonio and 1 at the Texas Elite in Kerrville, which was super exciting for them. I wasn't able to participate in San Angelo at the sheep and goat show because of COVID restrictions. They had it spread out over a 6 or 7 day period, and I couldn't stay that long in San Angelo. And the same with San Antonio, the weather hit and I couldn't get down there. But y'all should be very proud of our ag kids. Everybody that participated and attended a major show followed their rules and guidelines. They all wore their masks like we were required, and they represented our county extremely well, and they did an excellent job. And I'm so proud of them because everything that they went through, they still persevered and were able to attend majors. I know there were a lot of families that had to back out and not get to go either because they were exposed or they tested positive for COVID, or even the weather kept them from traveling down. And so they did a really nice job.
And we share a lot of that success with our FFA program too, and we have a lot of the kids branch across from both sides, so they worked hard.
How's the facility working out for the animals out here?
For the lambs?
No, for the animals out
Oh,
here.
the animals, a really good project center. So it was pretty much full. I say pretty much, it was full this year, which there's 3 barns, and the 4-H takes up about nearly 1 barn in itself. We had a couple of new families come in this year, which was great to see. Despite everything, there were so many hesitations on buying projects because what if we got to the same deal where county show was shut down, or the major shows were shut down? What were we going to do with these animals? But we still had some new participation brought in. Jacob and I worked together extremely well to keep that facility maintained. A lot of the parents volunteer their own time and resources. There were a lot of pipes that were busted over this bad freeze, and I know in the 3rd barn where the 4-H pigs are kept, Pete Campbell went and replaced and repaired a lot of those frozen pipes. And so they just really all worked together, and they were out there having to water hogs twice a day, 2 to 3 times a day, and they just worked together. There's another barn aside from those that we house sheep and goats, and that usually has at least 3 or 4 different families that have goats or sheep in that facility as well.
Yeah. And we just ask to bear with us. Next Commissioners Court meeting, we're requesting a quick 10 minutes for all of our volunteer proclamation signing, and hopefully some of those volunteers will come up and get to introduce themselves.
to y'all as well, so hopefully we'll see who's able to be here. Okay. And, yeah, we'll tickets.
I want tickets.
Okay, I will make sure to get a 4-H. Our goal is, we can, there's various places to purchase tickets, but if you are not seeing a 4-H coming up to you to ask you, let us know, we'll make sure to send one to you, because we've kind of got off that a little bit, and I think that's important, that they see the face of the kids in that selling process, so. Even though the parents are leaders, it still benefits our kiddos, so, yes.
You still need to be a part of it.
That's right, exactly. Thank y'all.
Thank you ladies for the report. Sounds like we're staying off business.
It's fun, it's fun.
Go to 9?
No, we gotta go to that.
Yeah, that's what I said, go to 9.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Item number 4 is
No.
Can we go to 9?
We gotta go to that.
10? Yeah, okay. Go from time.
But I need to get it.
Item number 9, open bids on 2018 Caterpillar 140M3 motor grader, precinct 2, and open them also on 20, that's on, is that a 2018?
Yes, both.
12, M3, precinct number 4. 10 a.m. start, and it's about 8 minutes to 9 minutes after.
And we got, and I'm not sure if it's on both or just one of the motor graders from B Equipment Company out of Lubbock, Texas.
On both.
I'm not sure. We'll know here in just a minute. Let's see what we got. Let's start bringing the letters up. Definitely a sealed bid. Okay, they'd like to offer for the 140 M3, $215,000. For the 12 M3, $190,000. And that's B Equipment Sales is the name of the company, and I'll let you and Matt, you'll make a copy.
I'm gonna reject mine.
Okay.
Okay, any more?
That's the only bid. That's the only
Yes,
bid.
sir, that's the only bid I received. Yeah, we could try to do the gov deals if you want to try to do auctions. Okay.
They give me a pretty fair deal, didn't they? I think it was 52, yeah.
I'm gonna accept mine at 109.
Okay. So, the bid on the 140 M3 at $215,000, precinct 2 is rejecting. And the bid on the 12 M3 for $190,000, precinct 4 is accepting.
Okay, I need a motion there. Motion on both of them, really, reject each bid, or precinct 2.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
I'll give Rusty a call, or if you, do you want to talk to him?
That's okay. Go ahead.
Motion, Commissioner Pruitt, second Commissioner Bonnie, to reject the bid on, from B Equipment Company on a Caterpillar, 2018 Caterpillar 140 M3 motor grader. They're on favor of rejection. Now motion on,
So moved.
Wow. I'll second.
to accept sole bid from B Equipment Company at $190,000 for a 2018 Caterpillar 12 M3, lower grade. All in favor?
Take a 10-minute recess.
You
10-minute recess.
need a little recess?
Yeah.
For the biggest.
Okay. So, like back up in about 10 minutes.
Straight up there, man.
Coffee does something.
No.
A little bit different.
Okey-dokey. I will make copies for you. I'm gonna take 30 minutes to do it. Because that's what I do. Best.
Speed this thing's moving, I think I'm gonna go. As the speed we're moving today, I think I'm gonna go downstairs.
You're welcome.
Public hearing on subdivision rules. On the 20th or the 24th, I didn't even turn it in until Wednesday was business. I barely made it. Public hearing April 26th. This ranch supposed to run on the 20th. Now, it's either the 20th or the 24th, the 24th was your last. I didn't turn it in till Wednesday about 3:30. And they emailed me back the next morning and said, we got it in.
We haven't even gotten to number 3 yet. Or number 4, that'd be K. I'm just gonna send Rusty the picture of it.
I talked to Dale. Got all that situated. He's gonna type it to me in a couple of texts, and then I'm gonna print it off. He's gonna send me a picture of the paperwork from the hospital, all that.
How did he bill that over there?
He told him it was probably workman's comp and where he worked and all that, but they wanted his personal insurance information also. I said, well, Devin, they wouldn't have known.
Right, they wouldn't
anything.
know.
But if I can get that in this morning to TAG, they can contact
Right.
that hospital, see.
What is he going back to the doctor today, to his doctor?
Well, he can't go to his doctor, I have to get him in with the workers' comp doctor. And that's why I said, I need your paperwork as quick as you can, get it to me, because I need a
What did
number.
he say about his arm?
He says he's better today.
What's wrong with his arm?
He got bit by Rocky.
I thought it was the hand.
It was his hand, but he had a red line going from his.
Oh, that's
He,
infection.
well, but he elaborated on all that. The antibiotics are getting into him now. The swelling has gone down some, and he is better. He said, I still can't shut my hand good, but,
Well, I can't either.
Well, me neither. But he said he thought that the antibiotics I wish they had just gave him a shot, but they gave him a longer acting high-powered antibiotic, so that's really better. And he said they told him it would take,
You gonna report to us about anything, Travis?
Sir,
You gonna report to us about anything?
I'm just here for questions.
I got noticed it here.
About? Oh, yeah, I'm here for questions.
I'm
Answers
here
and
for
questions.
questions.
anyway, it's all good. We're gonna get it
I hadn't even,
situated.
seen the hard copy of it yet. I just talked to him over the phone.
Oh, Jonathan.
Did one of our commissioners make it to the
Jimmy did.
Okay.
But like you, I was out of town at the time they showed up, so.
facility was inspected on dates indicated above, and was determined that
How many
the
did you
exists or to give the area modified for people.
I didn't even know we didn't have that hard copy. Mitch gave it to Max got. I just know what the jail's like. That's the least one.
My grandson's playing hockey. They were champions of the tournament.
Where do they live, Colorado?
And he's fixing to be 10. He's going through, 9 and 10, they start with that little chunky. I swear, he pulled out his daddy's pad. He looks just like him. They had 5 hockey games Saturday and Sunday. I asked him, he said, do your legs hurt? No, but my feet do. So bad. Little turd. But he's a big boy for 9 years old. His daddy's a big tall boy.
Let's get another rat.
You want this, or you want me to take it over there?
Yes, got the whole ear, and she said, "Let's start squirting everywhere." No,
Mandel.
Oh, those are so scary. I have one of those. I hardly ever use them.
well, she had a different one she was using, and Ray bought, I bought you this one, and she was doing it, and she said they said, she looked at the blood, she's squirting everywhere, and she's trying, he was out back, and she went out there, and she took a rag. And she cut the end off one of them, and then she bumped it this morning, started bleeding all over again. That, I have just done like the very end, chopping.
Yeah.
You tell me what to do.
That's why I use that little gizmo. If I don't have that, I stab it with a fork.
Yeah. Oh, goodness.
Yeah, it is.
I'm not gonna be here Friday, so I'm gonna work to Lubbock to.
a good job out here, you know it?
Yeah, they do.
We're lucky.
Yeah. Well, you never know, because sometimes it's raining, no one there.
Yeah, they're having some more snow, it's scary to get more snow.
You know, she called me last night, they were on their way home from Fort Collins, because that's where we had hockey. And, it was snowing. She was got a picture of these, you know, longer that little 9-10-year-old chunky age. Looks like crap. She,
He likes hockey games.
he loves it. They had 5 games over Saturday and Sunday. But we came here, I mean,
We did when we went through that stage, he was just so big, and now he's curving tall.
well, they go through about 9, 10, 11, and then they start getting teenager, and it seems like it.
Darren could get he always keep he grew. He never, he looked like he was eager.
I think that's she's like this, and she's really, and her legs are long, about that big around skin.
He offered you what, 250 something over
Yeah, I was trying to open it and it won't open, but yeah, it's 250.
there?
I went in and took a picture of that and sent it to Rusty, and I said, I'll call him after court if he needs me to.
I got a text in the sewer to see what's failed.
I've got it in the, yeah. Because I can't remember.
Yep, you can. You can.
What did he tell him about this?
Yeah, you can. I wouldn't either, but you can. That's why you see me say, you can, but I wouldn't. Yeah.
I just took out one of those big cypress trees and I just hold over it, so, oh, but he did, the guy did a good job, level it all off. Don't tell him what they did with him. I told her, I hope you don't mind us putting those trees down, he said, they're your trees, what would you want? Where's everyone knows it's going?
On the other one. Right.
Commissioner Court,
Did you fall off a tricycle a while back?
It is,
That what?
Did you fall off a tricycle a while back?
1026.
I wish it had been a tricycle. How'd you know?
I know everything.
I kind of had it ejected. It's silly on an ATV. It hurt.
You're old.
I am too old for that. I know that's why I did. Why? That's what Stuart said too.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. So I'm
Well, just completed item number 9.
busy on it, Cheryl.
Time schedule. We'll move back to item number 4. Consider county clerk minutes from previous meeting, March 15th, 2021.
So moved.
Okay. Hey,
It's not even on there.
Rogers, all in favor? To approve minutes. Item number 5 is consider auditor's budget amendments, payment of vouchers.
I have vouchers. The total is $138,000.
138,
Yes, sir.
okay.
91.94. And out of the general, it's 103,243.78. Included in that is, City of Olney Fire Department, 20,000, and Young County Central Appraisal is our quarterly, it's 56,110.
I took up the part of it, didn't I?
It took a big, that's why I said, yeah, it's not much if you consider those two big ones, and there is Don's butane in it today.
So move.
I'll second.
Christian? You second?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, motion is Mr. Pruitt, Crestwell to approve vouchers payable as presented. All in favor? That's going to be 401. Noting that Mr. Riley will Frank and Tom and vote on that item. Okay, next little voucher in there, Cheryl.
Sir?
The taxes.
I don't think it was in that run. I think we're gonna wait till it was approved and then put it in there.
Okay.
Because I told her once it went to court, we could
That
just go ahead and
voucher's in
do
your
it.
packet, I think for $955, is that right? Okay. That's, ordinary and usual, hadn't changed in a long time.
No, it hasn't. It's been that forever.
That's used to tax, Texas Association of Counties, and we paid the ones that the commissioners and judges, Association of Texas, I think a few weeks ago, and I believe it was $1,500.
1,800.
Yeah.
18.
It had gone up just a little bit.
So, you know, it's one of those things that could be affected by this legislature. I don't know whether that figure would change or not, but some of the activities that we may do with tax might be restricted. And I sent off some letters to the State Affairs Committee this morning. There is a hearing on 7/49, scheduled for Thursday. I'll be in Lubbock at that time. So, I'll just go down there and talk in front of them, but I'll send letters to all committee members. Okay, y'all. I'll move that we continue our membership in the Texas Association of Counties at $955.
Second.
Who was second? Wiley? All in favor? 5-0. And the next bullet point down here is discussion to consider Guardian Security Solutions, LC, invoice for Justice of the Peace magnetic lock systems. I think that's what that was on.
Yes, they broke.
$1,250.65, probably due to our loss of electrical power, is that right?
Yes, sir. They said it's getting on its last leg. I'm gonna use it till it absolutely does not work anymore before we do anything else.
Okay, that's, they're out of Lubbock, and I guess they rode down here from Lubbock.
Yes.
Serviced that and repaired or programs or whatever it is. He like said something about programming.
Yeah, the card readers, they had to reprogram all of it. We had to reprogram all of our fobs so we could get in and out.
Okay, so then we can get that out of the courthouse, can we get that out of security?
Well, there's 14,000 in there, we still put our two, I guess, we can pay that courthouse security.
What's the officer's recommendation there?
It'd either be that or contingency.
And what's the court's pleasure?
Let's do that courthouse security. Keep it in that line item.
Okay.
For courthouse security. Okay.
So I'll move on that.
That'd be Pruitt
Second.
and Wiley. Motion by Commissioner Pruitt, second by Commissioner Wiley, to approve $1,250.65 regarding security for service on JP magnetic lock. All in favor? Carried 5 votes.
Do we need to talk about this health benefit deal from tax on voting?
Oh,
This lady?
yeah.
It's not a bullet.
I mean, it's, it doesn't have anything about the order, there's just one candidate. I guess that, put it in the packet for, the following individual has been nominated by the President of the Texas Association of Counties with concurrence of the PAC Board to serve as Director for the Texas Association of Counties Health and Employee Benefits Pool for the term of years shown below, beginning April 1st, 2021. It's a 3-year term. Evidently, there was a term in 2020 through 2022, so I guess there was open spot, someone left or retired or whatever, and got off that committee. It looks like somebody fulfilling an expired term, and there's only one candidate there, so.
Will this fall underneath the tax deal there? Is that both points of that?
In the membership?
I think it came, I don't think it came with that same invoice. But it just calls for Chief Executive County Judge's signature. I didn't want to do that necessarily without the court's notice.
Like a board for me.
If there's no objection. Looks like we've only got one choice there.
Get out here.
Unless one of y'all wants to write your name in.
No, I'll pass. You want to give me that?
Got that to do?
Sure. Item number 6 is consider update on securities pledge at
121,517.48.
yeah, we've got the whole excess there.
Second.
Wiley. And you got anything you want to put, add in on that? Anything?
No, I had all the reports, but they're not on there, so I can do those next time.
We'll catch. Schedule meeting anyway. Motion by Wiley, second by Pruitt to approve the securities pledge out for 40. All in favor? Voted. Item number 7. Discuss and consider interlocal telecommunications dispatch agreement between Young County, Texas, and City of Raleigh. I think that's, will be on the city of Bonnie's council meeting. I think that's tonight, this evening. It's something that hadn't been upgraded in a while, so we lost the dates on it, left the money the same, and,
Is the amount payable, is it the same date it's always been?
well, we actually moved the date to our physical year rather than our calendar year.
Yeah, I see that.
February the 2nd or 15th?
And
October.
I did send to Neil that I don't care. They didn't seem like they hadn't sent back any questions or changes, but it just kind of outlines the, what we've agreed to do and what they've agreed to do with regard to dispatch services.
Where he says it.
Sheriff,
Remember the interlock.
it's working the same contract, just some date changes.
Hey, Sheriff,
I'm sorry.
hey, does that dispatch really change over at 4:30 or?
5.
Okay, I thought it was 4:30.
If that's the way that's gonna be, then that needs to be changed up there in that number 1 right there.
It's got an October 1 start date, 2020, and runs, continuing for 1 year, that'd be through September the 30th, 2021,
September 30th.
and it may be, it may automatically renew itself without any action of either party unless parties wish to change some provision in it.
Do we need to send them a statement then?
Well, I'm assuming, I've sent them the contract, I think a week or so ago. It's just something that has not been updated several years since we put it in there. I thought, except that one time that we increased the price from 40,000 to 43. I think we did that in 2 stages, one smaller stage and one that requires us to give notice, if anything in there may change. I believe 60 days, is that right?
It's,
30 days or 60 days, that's,
I don't know that I've ever really sent, I don't think I've sent the invoice. I think they just, I may have. I mean, I can, or I can wait and see if they can pay it.
you know, 90 days. Either party may terminate this agreement, give 90 days notice, or anything due from the citizen, but out at this place, those kind of terms, what we're gonna do.
We need something.
I think you ought to just send them the invoice on February the 1st every year.
Okay.
Remind me.
That's the same time I think I do the wind farm thing, but I think the wind farm thing's fixed to go away.
Yeah. We could pick another one.
The sheriff, they don't have any plans of Young County taking over 24/7? No discussion yet?
No, because I've been hearing rumors that they may want to do their own 24/7.
what we go up in a year,
5%.
5% at any one time.
I'll make a motion to approve the interlocal agreement between Young County and City of Allen for dispatch services.
Okay.
Rogers, motion for Rogers. Second for Wiley, is that right?
Mhm.
Every agreement?
Changes that address.
Yeah, that's fine.
All in favor? Okay, item number 8, discuss, consider interlocal cooperation agreement between Young County, Texas and Lubbock County, Texas regarding inmate housing. This has to do with, I think, I guess you kind of call it special circumstance housing, where we had one detainee there that we didn't really have the capability of service and caused a good bit of stir. And they had a place at Lubbock that they would take this individual, but they sent us back this interlocal, obviously. I think Nish brought it in to me sometime midweek last week. It's at $75 per day. And I believe that inmates has been transferred out there, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So we're still in charge of all his mental health medications and any of that.
Everything. But the thing of it is, with this facility, not only can they house violent, mental, whatever, they give them 24-hour service with MHMR and all their medical issues. Everything they do is right, I mean, it's in-house right there.
I understand all their services are in-house, and then they've got people available 24 hours.
Yes, sir.
They take care of those circumstances.
So that's kind of, that 75, I'm just kind of letting you know that's a lot of what's covered.
That might be cheap for our county.
Well,
It'd save us money, it's
You know,
saving us money.
And with the state of Texas, in my opinion, failing in the mental health department with rural jails, it's hard for us to find a facility anywhere around here that's secure that will take these patients or these inmates. So, we had one where we sent him off to a facility and it wasn't secure and he escaped.
So the major problem.
So, I guess it would be very helpful and beneficial for us, I believe, to at least get him in a local
Oh,
agreement.
yeah. It'd save us money, I think, in the long run.
Absolutely.
That's one of them things the state shouldn't be worried about silencing us.
Yeah.
They should be worried about that.
Yes.
Yep.
Well,
Amen. Representative.
good move.
I say we enter into the agreement. Make the motion.
Yeah, second.
Motion for it. Second by Crestman.
Yes.
enter into interlocal agreement with the county for housing, inmate housing. I'm understanding that this is special housing.
Yes, sir.
All in favor?
Okay.
Fine.
Judge, in that contract, I noticed they had our billing, our physical, auditor's physical address. I have an issue with bills not getting to me sometime that way. I wonder if I could get that changed to our P.O. box instead of the physical address in there.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
I didn't.
you want word to send payment?
P.O. Box 607.
P.O. Box 607.
Yes, sir. Sometimes if we have a new postman, it goes all over everywhere.
It's on the contract.
No, it's got the physical.
No?
Has a physical address.
607?
Yes, ma'am.
We got a signature line on there also.
Okay.
They have a lot of signatures, don't
They do.
they? Janitor and everybody.
Yeah. Judge, while I'm up here, you want me to stay up here, we'll talk about this real quick?
Well, you say, yeah, you say something if you want to about that. They might have some questions.
Can I ask about on the payment for this out-of-county housing? We have a line in the jail budget, but we don't have anything in there. So when the time comes, I guess we'll be getting the bill. I'll bring the bill and maybe take it out of contingency, but pay it out of that line that we have. What's on that line? It's in the jail budget. It's, I give 562 something.
Need to go ahead and get that set up.
I know, you just
You know, we'll just move it as we need it, I guess, out of contingency.
Okay, okay.
Last week, we had our jail inspection, our annual surprise jail inspection. We got dinged on 3 different things, all 3 technicals. One was we had a couple of corporals, the classification who have had their required classifications in jail school, but there's a 4-hour class that they hadn't had yet. And so they got dinged on that, which is something we will be taking care of pretty quick.
Has any of them had it, or
Yeah, all of them but the 2,
just 2?
just 2 that hadn't had it. The other 2 were documentations, where apparently the jailers wasn't documenting reports right on recreation and medication. The nurse does, she gives out the proper way of handling and distributing the medicine, and apparently they're doing that, but they're not documenting properly. I haven't seen all the full report, but that was whenever I talked to the inspector over the phone. That's what he was telling me, that they just wasn't doing what they were supposed to be doing, the jailers. Same thing with the recreation. You're supposed to give them 1 hour every 3 days, or at least 3 times that offer it to them. And if they're not doing it, if they deny it, apparently they're not documented.
In his report, he also told us, he said that he doesn't think at all that this is not getting done.
Right.
It just wouldn't put down the paper.
Yeah, and that's what he told me over the phone, that he believes everything was being done, it's just not getting documented. So that's a training issue that we're gonna take care of, and he also said that for this to be done, or we're to get it in compliance, we'll be sending him a report every week with the documentation to show him what we're doing. For, what do you say?
30 to 60
30
days.
yeah, 30 to 60 days. So,
Yeah.
You don't make a return visit?
oh yeah, he told me whenever I felt like we were ready for him to call him, he'd come back and do it. Which I can, guarantee the court today that the day when I get back, we will be starting fixing this problem.
Okay. Any more questions for Travis? Any comments you need to make, or questions you need to report?
I'm good. It's a good week already.
Okay, well, it sounds like it's just a paperwork thing.
A lot of paperwork, like just a train thing. But we'll fix that problem. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Keep in line.
Man.
Item number 10, is consider application of permit Cross County Road to construct pipeline or utility portbound water supply corporation. That's on Rosser Ranch Road in precinct 1 and Holcomb Lane in precinct 2.
I talked to Barry, he told me what he was doing. It's gonna be on the east side of the road down the ditch. I said, it's buried deep.
Well, they're making that road cut on precinct 1 up there. It's not any of the paved areas. It's just a dirt road really right through there, so it's not gonna hurt a thing. If it gets a dig test and all that, it should be fine.
Okay.
So I make a motion to accept these.
I'll second.
Rushville and Pruitt. Rushville on the motion, Mr. Pruitt on the second to approve Fort Belknap Water Supplies application for road crossing on Rosser Ranch Road in precinct 1 and on Holcomb Lane in precinct 2. All in favor?
Do you know about yours before you read this?
So we're gonna bury it?
I did.
Good.
He called me.
Road cut.
And one of them sounds like it's gonna go down right away.
It doesn't say this, it's
Bullberry.
Which one?
Is it crossing or going down right away?
Mine's going down the ditch line.
On the ditch line?
Yes, sir. East side of the road,
So buried.
buried,
Is it cross the road or go down the ditch line?
just straight in the ditch.
So this is on Ross Road.
No, mine's on hold on.
Open.
No,
So yours is buried,
Yeah, mine's buried.
and yours is what?
mine'll be a road cut.
I don't have that.
Right in.
I will have it down here.
But this was all filed, I just seen it on the bill of calling.
Holcomb's dead in anyway, so.
Yeah. It's getting alive now.
You can lease down there on
Did you? Underway. We cleared out a bunch of brush, and that's where we pushed it. Just pushed it over there.
Item number 11, discuss application permits to install entry culvert in right-of-way ditch line. excuse me, there's one on Bullock Road, right down there, pretty close to 61. Possibly that's a possible subdivision, but it would be one without any roads or common areas, if necessary, mile.
It's in there.
And then there's one on Stewart Ranch Road, precinct 4, and another 3rd Street and Loving, precinct 4. I think those are the 3 that we have. Do you want to make those individually or collectively?
Collectively, yeah.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Pruitt,
Yes.
to approve those installations, all in favor? Or the permit for those installations, I guess you would say. Item number 12 is discuss, consider permit for Cross County Road to construct pipeline. That's Brazos Telephone. That's Utilities Brazos Telephone Company, and that's the West Road in precinct number 4.
I talked to Charlie, everything's good. We're running fiber optic down through there.
Motion by Commissioner Wiley,
Second.
Pruitt. All in favor? Item number 13 is consider accepting commission slip. Yeah, I've got that commission slip right here in Cattlemen Clinic. Joe Perez, said I, Joe Perez, give Young County Precinct 3 permission to enter my property to trim or remove trees that are blocking the view of drivers when traveling down Johnson Road.
Yeah, it just goes through a little old creek crossing, this kind of makes a 90-degree turn down there, big old pecan tree, but there's a bunch of underbrush that needs to be figured out.
We got it out there.
Give us authority to go in there and clean that up, been asked to do that, safety hazard, driving hazard.
Got the item on the agenda, but we didn't have the slip to put the package still.
Yeah, but I didn't throw it in there, but. I'll make a motion to accept that.
I'll second that.
Rogers. On the motion. Wiley. Second. All in favor? Item number 14, discuss, consider lease agreement for 2021 belly dump with Brazos Trailer, precinct 4.
So moved.
Second.
Pruitt?
Yes, sir.
Got a motion by Commissioner Wiley, and second by Commissioner Pruitt to approve the lease agreement between Young County and Brazos Trailer
Will's Point.
Will's,
It's gonna be East Texas somewhere.
Can you send me a copy?
item number 15,
Can you send me a copy?
discuss amending or modifying subdivision, manufactured housing, community rules and regulations. Something that we've been working on. I haven't got to make it completely through that one. We've got through several sections of it. I think Carly's, I don't know if she did get it converted, or she is converted.
She got it converted.
There's some dates she needs to change on that, but other than that.
She's working hard.
You're doing good.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to purchase Word for this so I can open up documents.
Oh, you can't open
Huh?
them. You can't open them.
So I'll just go to Walmart and get,
How many days do we gotta have before we
I
have?
think that's what she got.
Well, we put it in the paper, it's been advertised, but we kind of need to get settled on it, I guess, next week.
Okay.
Get over, I guess, some mods made to it, modifications made to it, if we want to, everything changed and looked over and agreed to. I think it'll need to be on display by 30 days before the 26th, so that will be about Friday
Be
or
pretty
Monday.
close, yeah.
Might be Monday.
Well, do we need to have,
Excuse
do we
me.
need to have court before?
It's supposed to be able to be displayed 30 days before the hearing. The hearing's on 9 a.m. on the 26th.
That's what I'm saying. Do we need to meet again this week, or we need to stay here and work
I
it?
think we can do that on Monday. Let's see, 20,
You've got a month, because this is here,
that's gonna be on April 26th.
and there's that, so there's 1, 2, 3, it's exactly 4 weeks there. So.
So it's gonna
Because
be,
the 5th, 12th, 19th, through 26th, so that's exactly 4 weeks.
8 days.
that's not gonna be,
15 days, 22 days.
that's gonna be 29 days probably.
Next,
Yeah, we
next
can do it
Monday's
on
the 29th.
We can,
5, 10, 15, 20.
It's 29 days, isn't it?
I think we can be on Monday the 29th, maybe. All days, no.
Yeah, you count the weekends too.
And that's 25.
Oh, you can count on weekends too?
That's just
So that would
29.
be 26 right there. It's over 8, 29.
It's 29 days.
If you have it on Monday.
You got the weekend,
We can.
so you'd have to meet here somewhere to.
Yeah, to get it to where it's changed.
So Monday.
What's the 30th day before the hearing?
Yeah.
Thursday at 1:30.
No, it wouldn't be Monday.
Okay. Monday the 29th,
You count
there's
weekends.
30 days then between 26.
26 today.
We can put it on display Monday.
29 days.
It's not 30 days.
On
Wait a
Monday?
minute, wait a
You
minute.
want it less than 30.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 to 6 is 30. So you've got to do something here.
Yes.
This weekend and this will take it to the 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? 6, 7, 8.
We've got right here, is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So we have,
So you have to do something here.
probably have to do something between now and the 26th.
Yes, sir.
This week.
she can go ahead and put it on. It's either that or we can, instead of adjourning today, we can recess. How many days can you recess?
24 hours.
Can we not do Thursday?
Well, if we do that, then she's gonna have to do the 72 hours
Yeah.
on that.
Which would be about Thursday at 1:30 kind of thing.
We'll
Yeah.
publish one for
I don't care.
Thursday afternoon.
Why can't we do
Thursday
that?
at 1:30?
Thursday at 1:30?
Thursday, 1:30?
Well, we'll have ready.
Before we go.
Okay,
This Thursday, the 25th.
25th.
Oh, you're out of town this week.
What?
You're out of town.
You're in Lubbock.
You're in Lubbock.
Well, they can do it.
That's all. I just need to know when to do this.
Yeah.
When are you leaving?
I'll leave Tuesday, tomorrow afternoon, and be back probably about, should be mid-afternoon on Friday.
So Thursday, 1:30?
Thursday, 1:30? Or, that's 72 hours, that's the closest we can get.
Sure. That's fine.
Okay,
Is that all you'll have on the agenda is that?
Yeah, that's the only
yeah, that's all
thing
we'll have on the agenda.
we'll have
So
on there, I
this
guess,
is
is
considered,
approval of,
approval of.
proposed subdivision rules and regulations and, manufactured housing communities. I think that states manufactured housing and, I can't remember what it's termed, travel trailer, not travel trailer, but mobile home.
Mobile
I think
home.
it says.
In ours, it says mobile home rental, but that's a different deal.
Our old original rules, they were in two different, sections. This is recently, I guess, in the last legislature, they've combined manufactured housing into the subdivision rules and regulations. In the statute,
Yes.
actually.
I just got wind last week that somebody's looking at 225 acres to do subdivision on too.
Okay,
They've already asked me some questions about it, so.
I haven't heard back from this Wilkes people, but they're obviously trying to skirt the, whatever rules we've got in place, not fly, so.
Did you ask Bass, Bob, about what we asked?
Yeah, Bass has been, he sent, he sent a message to him, that, without demanding, just said that should be submitted, for verification that they meet the criteria for, exception to the planning rules. You know, it makes logical sense that somebody that's doing that can't make that finding on their own, just assuming that it's right. It's gotta be reviewed by somebody.
Well, when somebody refuses to want to do something like that, it makes it look like they're trying to do something that's not supposed to do, to me.
Yeah, they need to either file a copy of the plat with this court. It actually said file it with this court or the court's appointed person, whoever the court wants to appoint. So, you know, it looks to me like they ought to file that with the commissioner's court for the court's review and then get that approval if it actually does meet the specifications, and it could. You know, I think that one out on 701, I think it does. It would meet the specs for a, exception to the planning rules. It wouldn't have to be planning, there's not any road, public roads, right-of-ways, easements, or common areas, or cul-de-sacs, or anything like that anyway. And this one out here may too, I don't know, I haven't even been out there to look at it.
The thing that we talked about before that I'm concerned about is that creek that runs through there.
Yeah.
That's one of our main concerns, because it don't just affect that, it'll affect the people on the other side of the road also.
Well, he advised them that it would protect the purchasers of the lots and it would protect the developer of the lots.
Yeah.
If they would get some kind of decision by the governing body to, for an exception to those planning requirements.
Could we require them to do that 100-year floodplain on that? Could we require them to do the 100-year floodplain because of the creek?
Well, that would be a, I think there are rules in there that states that. I think it was. You know, that's
Well, I know it says it is. It's
subdivision, I don't believe the subdivision is eligible in a floodplain. You know, especially a subdivision that's got streets, to be agricultural land. And, you know, the 10.001 acres is that.
Are they going to still have to require, are they still required for them to give us a copy of the 3-year rollback of the tax being paid?
I don't know that it would be our responsibility to do that, and then have to do that in the tax district.
Well, with
If it ever fell out of agricultural land, then it would be, there'd be some kind of requirement to plant that.
Yeah, if they
as a
file a flood in
subdivision.
the county clerk's office, they have to prove that the taxes are paid.
But that's the other thing, is the minute they buy it for commercial use and divide it up and plat it.
There's probably something that have to fall back on the
Right.
bonds on,
Yeah.
something like that.
And then,
I don't know, it's kind of a hard to manage such circumstances. You know, I think that one out here, there's 106 point something acres, 0.8 acres or something like that, out here on Fort Valley Highway. One individual in there inherited, and they sold 104 acres in one block, and got a little triangle off of it, that's 2.8 acres, and that's where this one culvert is on the Little Road application. Well, bought it, or a camper or two sitting out there right now, and a pad is developing, there's gonna be some kind of living facility of some sort, probably a metal house, I think. So, I think really should be filed as a subdivision with no road, cul-de-sac, common areas in it, which is what it is. And we, develop a letter here to send to all of our realtors. Now, listen, we got rules and regulations during their selling of these properties. You might make mention to whoever's purchasing it that if you want to develop it, you're gonna have to file a plan of some sort or get an exception to the planning requirements through the commissioner's court. I mean, I talked to Ronnie Short over the weekend, and he's got 9 meter applications on his desk.
You see, I talked to Bear on Monday after a meeting, and I said, Bear, how are y'all looking as far as your meter runs? And he said, well, what makes it work out here for Kramer's deal is they got 2 ways to go around and they loop it together. And it's just about overloaded the system out there as it is.
and then there's some of it that's maxed out already.
That's what I'm saying. So what they're looking at is they're gonna have to upgrade their pump stations to handle it.
And get a new contract with the city of Graham for the amount of water that they're gonna need.
That's exactly right. And here's the deal, it the city ground won't grant that, then their hands are tied. So see, that plays back into, when they put a subdivision in, that's one of the requirements, where are you gonna get your water at?
Yeah.
You know? So, there's a lot of factors involved in that, and I don't know, I would think before Belknap needs to get some kind of grip of ground before we can allow any more subdivisions in certain areas.
Yeah.
Or we need to check with them to make sure that they've got adequate amount of meter, the water for that. So that's.
Well, I think that the ball's in their court on that, it's not our responsibility.
It's our responsibility to the point. to where
No,
we-
it's our, it's our
before we
responsibility
okay-
to appoint it. I mean,
Before we okay the map. or
But how do we know what's coming up next week in another place once we approve this?
What I'm saying is we gotta find out how much they got room they got left, water-wise.
Well, how do we know what's coming next year?
That's gonna
We
be
know,
Exactly.
they got
That's
to
what I'm saying.
renegotiate, so we know.
Then we shouldn't have nothing to do with it, don't have to.
Yeah, we do need to have something to do with it. But we don't need to be able to approve.
I don't know about that.
We don't need to be able to approve a map if they can't have, if they don't have water.
That'll be all.
Well, I understand that, I'm saying about this. I'm talking, never mind, I'll talk to you about
The
it.
developer needs to bring
Right,
through.
right, I agree with that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I mean,
Be in their application. for it.
right, exactly, but I'm
We
saying,
subdivide a piece of property, that is less than 10 acres in a lot, that has streets, and roads, and alleys. In that development plan, it'll have all of the certifications that, yeah, we can get water from here or from here,
right,
to the properties.
I understand that.
And-
I thought you were saying, I'll talk to you
Okay.
about it.
and whatever else, and utilities will come from Encore Electric or
Fort Bowman.
Reagan Electric,
Yeah.
Here's another
or
thing.
whoever, and
I think, I
we
was,
can supply the power.
Here's
Here's
what I'm saying,
what
something else.
the systems
I'll take
gonna
it.
do, they're gonna leave septic systems on each one of their lots.
right,
Is our ditch line considered a drainage easement?
Well, here's the thing, in that situation there, they did with this White County. It depends on how much water, and that's why you gotta do that water.
Well, that's what I'm saying, it's like where we got, if we have a drainage easement considered in our ditch, and it goes to that creek that goes through that property, that's part of the drainage easement, it has to be.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm talking about the something flowing off of that place into our,
Right.
but in that situation there, the reason they wanna do a certain study on that, because it may be where they have to do like they did out here at Walmart or over here at Beach,
redirect the water.
where they have to have a pool right there with a feed,
Yeah.
outlet in it, to where they can control how much water comes out of that.
Yeah.
See, Walmart has a huge one. When you go get your pickup stuff right down there on, close to Dry Creek, it's right there, it's deep.
I understand what Stacy's saying, because if they do something with that creek, then the people on Coleman Road are gonna start getting flooded.
Right.
That's not fair to
And
them.
it says right here, no construction or filing, without filing with approval from the Young County Commissioner's Court. So
And that's.
they can sell the property, but the people can't build on it till they get approval,
Right.
is what I'm asking.
Well, they gotta have, you talking about putting culverts in too?
And it'll fall into culverts and even on general construction on the property. I mean, even if it's above 10 acres, if it's affecting that, it's gonna fall under our jurisdiction.
That's another reason why it'd be important to know exactly what size culvert
Yeah.
put in there.
Saturday condition.
That's as far as I've got read so far.
So when are we doing this, Thursday? 1:30?
Get one there.
I
So
didn't
you're
get my
not gonna
phone,
do
I'll
anything
forget.
on this?
Hmm?
You're not gonna do anything on this?
It's up to them, whatever. y'all
No, I
wanna
mean
do.
today.
That's what I'm saying, it's up to them, whatever they want to do today.
We can recess if we want to. And if we need to meet tomorrow, then we can. We've got all that, but I'm probably not going to get through that. I'm probably not going to get through that today and half the day tomorrow.
93 pages.
Well, it's, I've read through most of it, and a lot of it is repetitious
Yeah,
in there, you know. But, it mentions culverts and culvert sizes several times in there.
Yeah. Printed this copy to do.
So Thursday, 1:30.
And she needs to go ahead and on the bottom of each page where it says June 2019, get that changed.
I told her,
Okay.
I didn't send it to her.
the notice is in
And I need the
the paper
final, copy of the final,
for
when it's
the
adopted.
26th April.
Okay.
I need it.
I'll tell her to send it to you.
Yeah,
I'll go down and make sure she gets a
yeah,
copy before then.
because I could have done all the work, I can
There's
transfer.
an additional
to Word.
106 acres out there.
We're trying to get these to them too.
This last one,
Sometimes I need something too. Hurry up.
somebody, while I was looking the paper about, it's advertised. Jim Hawkins is, Hawkins Real Estate is offering it. And I heard there was a place out there that fit this one, this Spanish rice, but I don't know. And I think that other one brought forward.
The triangle.
It was moving. I'm gonna remind you every meeting, that county sometime in the future, maybe not too distant, is gonna need some facilities, and there's not gonna be anything there to put them on. You know, consider the county got the money now to do that. It won't be available, or there won't be anything like that available in short order. Encourage you to put your thinking caps on and not necessarily just limit it to the next 2 or 3 years, but 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road. It's not gonna be anything more expensive, and location is gonna be extremely important. I'm telling you, it's getting 26 acres on the little road right there just north of, just a little way further north, where the culvert installation is. 26 acres is just recently sold. So there's
Two more. You think we'll divide it, the two there?
that's one.
You think we'll divide it, the two 10-acre plots, and so?
No, I think it's somebody that wants to go to a place.
Oh,
Put it on, like that. But it's, I see a gate going up there, and I know who opened it, so.
Okay.
I asked him yesterday. So, yeah, just put
Yes.
gate going up over there on the west side, west line of the road. Where that sign was.
I know where you're talking about.
We're doing this on Thursday, 1:30.
Yes.
She was asking. She-
1:30.
Going back and forth,
Recess.
do we recess, do we?
Go back in there, just 1:30.
Okay, are we gonna have run restrictions on
Well,
there? Are we having a prayer?
I would say just maybe 1:30 on Thursday. I won't be back till Friday.
But I mean,
It has to be, we have to have it done by that, like Friday. And they probably don't want to meet on Friday.
So just convene, item, adjourn. No burn restrictions, no public comments, none of that stuff, right?
Sounds good to me.
Discuss, consider, proposed modifications, new or whatever else this says, subdivision regulations
totally different now.
Well, it's the same thing.
Development
Well, I
rules
know
and
that.
regulations, Young County, Texas is what's on it.
Development rules,
This
yeah.
will be proposed rules and regulations.
Well, tell me when you get back in here, because you talk about, that's your name.
I'll tell you what to put on.
That's fine.
It'll be just like this one. There, such that have discussed, consider proposed. And I'm pretty sure the statute and notice requirements will say that our proposed rules and regulations needs to be on display for 30 days
Yeah.
prior to that hearing.
Where you gonna display that?
Excuse me.
Where you gonna put it at?
Probably clerk's office and maybe down there too, I don't know. It'd normally be available at the clerk's office or county judge's office.
Okay. Good deal.
I don't know if anybody will look at it, but they may. Sure might, the way things are going, and all the interest that's being displayed in this county with regard to dividing land.
Had a guy call me on 500 acres the other day. He thought he could divide it by 10 acre plus plots, but he's gotta have roads in it because it's so big. I explained to him at that point, he's gotta plat it.
You be a subdivision then.
And then he talked about not doing it now.
What are your thoughts on the money that's listed in
On
the
the
fees?
fees.
On the fees.
Yeah, I haven't got through that. I'll try to get that, I'll try to get some kind of idea on that today sometime.
According to them, they haven't had any trouble on the fees at all.
Well, this Wilkes Group, Parker County, I understand Parker County have deals with them. Trying to skirt all their rules and regulations. Bob Bass tells me that we couldn't mess with that more than 10 acre rule and regulation, so that they've got that defined and they haven't given us liberty, direct liberty to mess with that, any increasing or decreasing. So probably better not fool with that.
No.
So if something comes in like this that does meet that, we don't know if they made it unless they put it before someone, puts a paper to say, this is what we're gonna do. And it makes that, I think there's 8, I believe there's 8 exceptions to the plating requirement. A couple of them are more deal with veterans and the veteran landlord, I guess you'd say. And those lots only being available for veterans, I think that meets an exception. Then there's the more than 10 acre rule, where there is no road, streets, alleys, common areas, cul-de-sacs, or any of those kind of things like that. And those things have to have access from a public road on one side or the other, or one end or the other, or all. I mean, they've got to have access to it, or they're going to be roads to access that. So that's a pretty limited qualification, but it's there, and someone can meet it. If I like that one out there, it would meet that. I think we've got that price as a $300 fee for filing a subdivision with no road, cul-de-sacs, no cameras with their, this fee, or that. I think they're going to be for that too.
plat without roads?
Yeah, it could be a subdivision with no roads or common areas or streets,
750.
750. I think ours says $300 in this
A
one.
final plat in construction plans with road is $800 plus $75 per lot. A preliminary plat is $800 plus $100 per lot. And then a preliminary or a final plat with submittal is $200 for each plat submittal in excess of 3. They have construction inspection, $2,000 for up to the first 1 mile, linear feet, 5,000 linear feet of road, and 150 for half a mile.
Final plat with no roads here's, in our old one is $300. And I do have that marked here on this one, 750 is what this one is.
Do we have what's ours for variance request?
Excuse me?
What is ours on the variance request? It's 200 here
Well, let's see,
for each.
we don't have a variance request specifically in there. We've got preliminary plat, final plat. And this does add $50 per lot in excess of 10 lots. A final plat with no roads, a plat revision. Notices, plat cancellation, and I thought we ought to have a G or another one there for a survey claiming exception to the rule. That would be virtually the same thing as
It's
the
a variance.
final plat with no roads. The final plat that does have roads is $1,000 plus $50 per lot, excess of 10 lots. And I think this one says $800 for final plat plus $25 per lot, or is it in excess, just per lot?
Per lot.
$25 per lot.
This is final plat and construction plans with roads, $800 and $75 per lot.
So I don't have a problem charging what Wise County does. They're just gonna roll those expenses back into the lots anyway.
Yeah. I guess we're gonna have to set up to where each commissioner will have to go out there and do their walkthrough, make sure everything's done like it's supposed to, since we don't have an engineer to do that, so it's gonna be up to each.
Let's just send the new guy over here.
They have a survey, that shows no road applied to this, but if they're gonna have, they're gonna actually subdivide that, they're gonna have to file development plan and all that kind of stuff
Yes.
to begin with,
Yep.
with their, I think they calls it a preliminary plan here.
Preliminary or final plat submitted. Yep.
I'm telling you, it's going, if something don't change, it's just gonna attack us.
Well, right now, going down 380, North Lake and Rome are coming together.
Yeah.
They're building subdivisions as fast as they can over on the south side of 380 right now. they build houses back in there, seen that in my life. I think they get a house completed in 45 days. That's the slab done. And they're about this far apart. So you get a strong wind like we did happen, and one of them catch on fire, expect some major situations take place. See, that's another thing that,
I don't know where on. California, Missouri, Pennsylvania, New York, plus all those folks out of Metroplex.
well, one thing that we hadn't figured out, those people down there, I got cousins that's down there close to the border, they're coming across there faster than you can imagine. 4,000 adults and 500 kids a day coming across.
Yeah.
The bad thing about it is what they're dressed and how they're dressed. They're dressed in camouflage, the same one as the cartel.
Well,
They took 3,000 of them, put them up there, convention center there in Dallas.
Convention center.
Ain't that a bunch of miners though?
Yeah, I think that's all the miners, it's a decade by the
Yeah,
convention
but
center.
when you're considering them miners are different than what our miners are. Those miners are trained. They know exactly what to do and how to do it. We're fixing to get knee deep in something we don't want to be knee deep in. It ain't just the subdivisions, we're fixing to be tight.
I feel for those folks that won't cross. I feel for those folks that are forced to cross.
Yeah.
Details.
And I feel for those that's having to receive it.
Mm. The feds are so want to implement the CDC rules so bad, but yet when they do something like that, that goes against the CDC rules.
Yeah.
Something serious, that's an oxymoron.
All for the almighty vote.
Of course, none of them people across somewhere voted at all, as far as I know.
Oh, they probably did. How do you think he got elected?
I talked to a guy the other day, said his mother-in-law went to vote for presidential election, and she gave him her credentials, and she said, oh, ma'am, you already voted. She said, no, I haven't. He said, yeah, you have. He said, no, I'm pretty sure I hadn't voted. She said, well, how did I vote? Well, you voted by mail. He said, oh, no, I ain't never voted by mail. Come to find out, his dead father-in-law had been dead for 7 years, voted too.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on right there. A lot of that going on. Possibly a lot of it.
That's why our numbers,
Manipulated those machines.
that's why our numbers in Texas are skewed so bad, on the Democratic side.
Well, looks real suspect. When you have a incumbent president, it gets 10 million more votes than he did in his initial election and then doesn't win. That raises red flags.
Yep. We're doing the math, what we've got registered voters versus what voted.
Ain't never gonna work though. I mean, it's done, it's done. We're stuck with it.
But you know what, they're scared to death, they're not sure what's gonna take place, that's why they ain't cooking that, my deal got canceled again, more than DC and money. I said, this ain't all this.
Might not wanna go there right now, buddy.
You gotta wait, you gotta do a recess.
Might not wanna go there.
Okay, well,
Not say no burn restrictions, it's down. And,
Well, let's go back up to 15, what do y'all think?
We're gonna-
Recessing,
we're gonna-
convenient,
No, we're gonna.
we're gonna wait, and come in Thursday at 1:30.
so we're gonna recess?
No,
No,
we're gonna adjourn.
make that motion.
on the 15th, item there, we're gonna
adjourn
We're going
until
to,
Thursday,
we can get it later, or we're gonna, yeah,
Thursday the 25th.
yes,
Thursday,
the 25th.
the 25th at 1:30 p.m. We'll need
Okay.
to get a notice posted today.
I got it ready for you to fill in.
Right.
How you want to word it?
All right, here you go. Got it.
Got it?
Unless something happens in between, I won't be here on that day. And Mr. Wiley, our senior commissioner, I guess, will conduct a meeting. It will be specifically to discuss or consider amending, modifying subdivision bill or to that map. But that's basically what it'll be, amending, modifying, or adopting subdivision and manufactured housing rules and regulations.
And what that does, what does it do?
That's not adopting, that's
Proposing, because that gives us, that 30 days gives us that much more time to make changes within that time frame, and we won't adopt it until after the 30 days is up.
It's on the 26th.
You know, subject to
It's on
change.
the 26th.
But I think we have to have a proposed set on display for the 30 days.
Yes. Yes. So we're just gonna do a proposal.
Is that gonna be in your office?
Yeah, in your office.
And yours too.
Okay, we've got, Wiley on the motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second by Pruitt. All opposed?
The contract for Billy Dunn, shows the original document that you sign.